Want to learn your target language for free? Then get our language gifts of the month right now, before they expire. Here's what you're getting this month. First, the Going to the Movies conversation cheat sheet. With this new cheat sheet, you'll learn to say phrases like, "Does this have subtitles? When does the movie start?" and much more. Second, the How to Talk About Your Feelings PDF ebook. You'll learn over 90 words and phrases for feelings with this bonus PDF picture ebook. Download and review it on any device. Third, 30 must-know opposite adjectives. Learn how to say young and old, hot and cold, and much more. You'll pick up over 30 words with this vocab bonus. Fourth, can you talk about people's appearances? With this quick 1-minute lesson, you'll learn to describe others with words like tall, short, muscular, and much more. Fifth, want the language learning app that actually gets you speaking? Download Innovative Language 101 for free for the Android, iPhone, and iPad. You'll unlock hundreds of bite-sized audio and video lessons made by real teachers and start speaking in minutes. And finally, the deal of the month. If you want to finally master the language with lessons by real teachers and our complete language learning program, get up to 45% off our 6-month challenge sale. To get your gifts and language learning resources, click the link in the description below. Download them right now before they expire.
Want to speak real Italian from your first lesson? Sign up for your free lifetime account at ItalianPod101.com.
Hello everyone, welcome back to ItalianPod101.com. My name is Daisy. Mi chiamo Daisy. Mi chiamo Daisy. And in this video we're gonna learn cooking verbs in Italian. If you wanna try to cook real Italian recipes, then keep watching, because thanks to this video you will learn the basic verbs to cook in Italian. Verbi per cucinare. Verbi per cucinare. Cooking verbs. How do you like cooking? Personally, I like eating. Mi piace mangiare. I like eating. And cooking, cucinare, cucinare, is okay, I guess. Ti piace cucinare? Do you like cooking? Ti piace cucinare? Or cosa cucini stasera? What do you cook tonight? What are you cooking tonight? Cosa cucini stasera? Another verb that often is used as cucinare, so to cook, is cuocere. 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 Io cuocio, tu cuoci. I know it can be tricky, but this is used to say that you're actually cooking, as in frying, baking, boiling, something. So you're making it from raw to cooked. Cuocere. Cuocere. It could be in the oven or on the fry pan, it doesn't matter. Cuocere means that something will be then ready to be eaten. Okay? In fact, on recipes, which by the way is ricette, ricette, you will often see cuocere in forno per 20 minuti. For example, cuocere in forno per 20 minuti. Cuocere, cook, in forno, in the oven, for 20 minutes, per 20 minuti. Of course, you could just say bake for 20 minutes, but cuocere in forno is also something that we say a lot, because it specifies how you have to cook it. Come cuoci il pollo? How do you cook the chicken? Come cuoci il pollo? Lo faccio al forno. I'll bake it. Or lo faccio fritto. I'll fry it. This is also something important. We often say fare, fare, as in to do, to make, even when we're talking about cooking. For example, fare una torta, to bake a cake. Literally to make, to do a cake, but it means to bake a cake. Fare una torta. Facciamo una torta per il tuo compleanno. Let's bake a cake for your birthday. While if you literally want to say let's bake, we have different verbs, okay? Because infornare, infornare, in forno. Forno means oven, so infornare means to put inside the oven, literally. Infornare la torta, while sfornare, sfornare, s plus fornare, which is not actually a verb, but sfornare means to take out the oven. Sfornare. So we don't actually have the verb to bake. As I said, we use cuocere in forno, in the oven, but infornare to put in the oven and sfornare to take it out, okay? For example, you can say pane appena sfornato. Pane appena sfornato. Freshly baked bread. Pane appena, just, sfornato. It was just taken out the oven, literally. Leaving the oven aside, we can say friggere, friggere, to fry, friggere, friggere le patate in olio bollente. Fry the potatoes in boiling oil. Friggere le patate in olio bollente. Oil is olio, boiling is bollente. And this word comes from the verb bollire, bollire, to boil. Bollire. L'acqua bolle. The water is boiling. The water boils. L'acqua bolle. Quando l'acqua bolle, when the water boils, puoi buttare la pasta. Be careful to this sentence. Quando l'acqua bolle, puoi buttare la pasta. This is something that a native speaker would say, because we say to throw the pasta inside the water. Of course, it doesn't mean that you have to throw it away. La butti, so you put it inside the pot, in the water. You just add it. Aggiungere la pasta. Aggiungere, to add. Quando l'acqua bolle, when water boils, aggiungi la pasta. Add the pasta. Butta la pasta. Throw the pasta inside, of course. Something that you can do when you have the pasta inside the pot is girare, to steer. Girare, girare. So girare la pasta, but not only. Girare spesso il risotto. Girare spesso il risotto per non farlo attaccare alla pentola. Girare spesso il risotto. Steer the risotto often. Per non farlo attaccare alla pentola, so that it doesn't stick to the pot. Attaccare, stick. It means that it's burning, basically, right? Bruciare, bruciare. Girare spesso il risotto, steer the risotto often, per non farlo bruciare, in order not to burn it. Per non farlo bruciare, or attaccare alla pentola, which has the same risk in the end. Back to pasta and not to risotto. Once it's cooked, so it's soft enough, you want to scolare la pasta. Scolare la pasta. So to drain the water, right? Scolare, to drain. Another verb that you can see when they tell you to add ingredients is mischiare. Mischiare. Mischiare tutti gli ingredienti. Mix all the ingredients. Mischiare. In order to do so, you may have to tagliare gli ingredienti. Tagliare. Tagliare, to cut. Tagliare a cubetti gli zucchini, for example. To cut zucchini into cubes. So to dice zucchini in this case. Tagliare a cubetti. Cubetti is little cubes. Or you may have to sbucciare, sbucciare le mele. For example, if you're making an apple pie. Sbucciare le mele. Buccia, buccia is the peel, so the skin of the apple in this case. So when you sbucci something, you're taking the peel off. Sbucciare le mele, peel the apples, e scaldare il forno, and heat the oven. This is often together, right? So while you peel the apples, you can have your oven getting to the temperature that you need, right? Sbucciare le mele e scaldare il forno. You could also have to sminuzzare, 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 to chop or to mince. We don't really have a different verb for vegetables or meat. Everything is together. Sminuzzare la carne e aggiungerla alle verdure tagliate a cubetti. You see here we used a lot of the verbs that we just saw, just in one phrase. Sminuzzare la carne means the meat, e aggiungerla and add it alle verdure, to the vegetables, tagliate a cubetti, to the already cut into cubes, vegetables. Sminuzzare la carne e aggiungerla alle verdure tagliate a cubetti. Once you've done all of this, so you're almost ready to eat, actually even before this, don't forget to salare il cibo, to put salt on the food. Salare il cibo. Ricordati di salare l'acqua della pasta. Remember to put salt into pasta's water, because you put that before, right? Ricordati di salare l'acqua della pasta. When it's not only about salt, you can say condire. Condire. It means both to season and to dress, as in il condimento della pasta, so it's the pasta's dressing. Come condiamo la pasta? What do we put with pasta? What do we eat with pasta? What do we season pasta with? What do we dress pasta with? Or seasoning. Condire l'insalata. So you put oil and salt and maybe vinegar or pepper, lemon, I don't know what you like, but condire something is to add the spices or anyway, salt and pepper. Something else that you can see a lot with these verbs is quanto basta, which in recipes is always shortened as in Q and B. Quanto basta. It means that there are not specific portions or grams to use, but you decide. So it's until it suffices, until it's enough. Quanto basta. Aggiungere sale, quanto basta. Add enough salt. Add salt until it's enough. Quanto basta. These were the most common verbs used while cooking in Italian, so please let me know in the comments if you were able to read and maybe also make something out of an Italian recipe. Also, don't forget that if you want to have real Italian conversations, you just have to click the link in the description, download our PDF lessons, and learn Italian in the easiest, fastest, and most fun way possible. Thank you for watching. I'll see you soon. Ciao ciao. Bye bye.
Want to speak real Italian from your first lesson? Sign up for your free lifetime account at ItalianPod101.com.
Hi everyone, welcome back to ItalianPod101.com. My name is Daisy. Mi chiamo Daisy. Mi chiamo Daisy. And in this video, I'm gonna talk to you about 10 popular songs in Italy. 10 canzoni famose in Italia. 10 canzoni famose in Italia. Of course, it's really hard to choose just some songs to talk about because there are so many, and I'm sure you know even more than me. But the followings are just some examples of some famous songs. They're not in a specific order because I didn't want to bore you with the history of Italian music. It's just in general, and we're gonna translate together some of their lyrics. Let's start with Azzurro, Azzurro, from Adriano Celentano. Adriano Celentano. Azzurro means light blue, and even though it's quite old, I also used to study it at school because it's really bright and there are many words that also kids can learn. And a phrase from this is E allora, and then E allora, io quasi quasi prendo il treno e vengo da te. Prendo il treno e vengo da te means I take the train and come to you. I take the train, prendo il treno e vengo da te, and I come to you. Quasi quasi, it's a really funny expression that I like a lot, so that's what I wanted to talk about. Quasi means almost, right? So quasi quasi put together means that I'm about to. I'm thinking of doing this thing. I'm almost doing it. You just have to repeat the word. Quasi quasi. I could also say quasi quasi mangio una pizza. Maybe I'll eat a pizza. I'm about to eat a pizza. I'm thinking about eating a pizza. Number 2, we have Gianna Nannini. Gianna Nannini. I know this is a really hard name, but that's also why I picked this, so you can try and learn. Gianna Nannini. Sei nell'anima. Sei nell'anima is the title. This is a song from 2006. Sei nell'anima means you are in my soul. Literally, you are in the soul because there is no mia, but we know that she's talking about herself. So, sei nell'anima, tu sei nella mia anima. You're in my soul. And a really popular part of the refrain is quanta tenerezza, non fa più paura, non fa più paura. And then it goes again, sei nell'anima. Quanta tenerezza means how much tenderness, sweetness, kindness. Quanta tenerezza. It doesn't frighten anymore. Non fa più paura. Fare paura, to frighten. Numero 3, from Luciano Ligabue. Luciano Ligabue. Certe notti. Some nights. Certe notti. This is a song from 1995, and a really popular phrase is certe notti o sei sveglio o non sarai sveglio mai. O sei sveglio o non sarai sveglio mai. Some nights you're either awake or you'll never wake up. Certe notti o sei sveglio, either you're awake, o non sarai sveglio mai. You'll never wake up. You'll never be awakened. Also, I want you to focus on the fact that sometimes some sounds are hard to say, like sei sveglio, when they're combined together. So it's really helpful to listen to songs like this. Number 4, Vasco Rossi with Una vita spericolata. Una vita spericolata, a reckless life. Una vita, life, spericolata, reckless, where pericolo is danger. So spericolata is something that doesn't have to do with danger, reckless. Voglio una vita maleducata. Voglio, una vita maleducata, a rude life. Di quelle vite fatte così. One of those lives made like this. Una di quelle vite fatte così. Of course, you would have to read the whole lyrics if you want to know what he's talking about and where he's going. So I recommend you to do that as well. Number 5, from Renato Zero. Renato Zero. Zero as in 0, the number. Il triangolo no. This is a very funny song, especially if you look at the video. If you watch the video, you will see that he has, I would say, original costumes. And you have to think that this came out in 1979. So it was a real shock for most of the audience. So yeah, go check out the video. Il triangolo no. So not a triangle, basically. And probably the most recognizable part of this song is lui chi è? Lui chi è? Who is he? Come mai l'hai portato con te? Come mai, which means why. Come mai l'hai portato con te? Why did you bring him with you? Il suo ruolo, his role. Mi spieghi? Can you tell me? Qual è? So can you tell me what is his role? What is he doing here? Lui chi è? Come mai l'hai portato con te? Il suo ruolo? Mi spieghi? Qual è? Another really energetic song is by Raffaella Carrà. Raffaella Carrà. And it's called Tanti auguri. Tanti auguri. Which is what you say for a birthday, for example. It's like many wishes, congratulations. This has an interesting topic. In fact, she talks about making love. You also want to think about the year this came out, which was 1978. And this goes like, come è bello fare l'amore da Trieste in giù. How great, how beautiful it is to make love from Trieste down, da Trieste in giù. So starting from Trieste, which is really north of Italy, so in the whole country basically. Come bello far l'amore, io son pronta e tu. how great it is, how beautiful it is to make love. I'm ready. Io sono pronta. E tu? And you? And then the refrain and the whole song basically just says tanti auguri. So many wishes. As number 7, we have another love song, but different genre and kind. This is from Eros Ramazzotti. Eros Ramazzotti. Più bella cosa. More beautiful thing, the most beautiful thing, better thing. Più bella cosa. It came out in 1996 and it says: più bella cosa non c'è, più bella cosa di te, unica come sei. Più bella cosa non c'è, there is no better thing. Più bella cosa, better thing, most beautiful thing. Non c'è, there is no, there is none. There is no better thing. Più bella cosa di te, better than you, more beautiful than you. Unica come sei, unique as you are. Unica come sei. Of course, he was talking about his lover. Too bad they divorced in the end. She's also famous in Italy and there was gossip around this. You can check that too. Speaking of pain caused by love, we have Tiziano Ferro. Tiziano Ferro, where ferro means iron. Tiziano Ferro with sere nere. Sere, nights. Nere, black, dark, dark nights. It goes like perché fa male, male, because it hurts. Male da morire, like dying pain, senza te, without you. Because it hurts. It hurts really badly to be without you, basically. Perché fa male, then he repeats male. Male da morire, morire is like to die, so almost like dying. Senza te, without you. Number 9, another girl. She's known just by her name, Elisa. Elisa. A modo tuo. A modo tuo. Your way, in your way. A modo tuo, andrai a modo tuo. Cadrai e ti alzerai, sempre a modo tuo. You'll walk and you'll fall, ti alzerai, sempre a modo tuo. You'll get up, always your way. Now, for number 10, in case all these songs are too easy for you and you really want to give it a try and you want to learn some slang and hear someone speaking really, really, really fast, then this may be for you, because this is a rapper. He's called Caparezza, Caparezza, and his most famous song is Fuori dal tunnel, Fuori dal tunnel, outside the tunnel. This is from 2003 and it has really many slang words inside, so it could be hard to explain just in a few seconds. So I just selected a phrase that has food in it, so it's easier to remember. It says faccia a faccia, face to face, faccia a faccia, con una focaccia, with a focaccia, con una focaccia, altro che l'auto pasto. Altro che l'auto pasto. So l'auto pasto is a gorgeous meal, something really huge with a lot of food, like a buffet. Altro che means anything then. So anything then a gorgeous meal. In fact, he is face to face with a focaccia. Faccia a faccia con una focaccia. Altro che l'auto pasto. So those were the 10 selected songs. I invite you to check them out and try to listen to them and learn some words from them. I hope you enjoyed. And if you want to learn even more Real Italian Daily Conversation, just click the link in the description, download our PDF lessons, and learn Italian in the most fun way possible. I'll see you soon. Thank you for watching. Bye bye. Ciao ciao.
Ciao a tutti, sono Felice Angelini. Hi everyone, I'm Felice Angelini. In this lesson, you learn how to give your phone number.
This is Mark Lee, and he's at City Hall registering his address. The civil servant who is helping him says, "Your phone number, please."
Il suo numero di telefono, per favore.
Listen to the conversation and focus on the response. Note, the civil servant in this conversation uses formal Italian. Ready?
Il suo numero di telefono, per favore.
Il mio numero di telefono è 123 45 67 890.
Once more with the English translation.
Il suo numero di telefono, per favore.
Your phone number, please.
Il mio numero di telefono è 123 45 67 890.
My phone number is 123 4567 890.
Let's take a closer look at the conversation.
Do you remember how the civil servant says, "Your phone number, please"?
Il suo numero di telefono, per favore.
Let's start with
Numero di telefono.
meaning phone number.
Numero di telefono.
This starts with
Numero.
number.
Numero. Numero.
In Italian, all nouns have grammatical gender and are either singular or plural.
Numero.
Is masculine and singular, a fact that will determine the form of other words in the sentence. Next is
Di.
of in this context.
Di. Di.
Last is
Telefono.
phone.
Telefono. Telefono.
Note,
Telefono.
translates as telephone or phone. We'll use the abbreviated version, phone, as this will include various kinds of phones, including mobile phones, landlines, and so forth. Together, it's
Numero di telefono.
this literally means number of phone or phone's number, but it translates as phone number.
Numero di telefono.
Before this is
Il suo.
meaning your in this formal context.
Il suo.
Note,
Suo.
fundamentally means his, hers, or its, but it's also a formal way to say your when speaking to someone directly using formal Italian.
Suo. Suo.
Now, you might be more familiar with
Tuo.
an informal word for your, as in
Il tuo numero di telefono.
your phone number. As this is a city office setting, the formal form
Suo.
is more appropriate. Because
Numero.
is masculine singular,
Suo.
is masculine singular to agree with it. Before
Suo.
is the article.
Il.
Think of it like the in English.
Il. Il. Il.
Is also masculine singular to agree with.
Numero.
Note, in this sentence, the article
Il.
does not have a corresponding English translation. In Italian, possessive adjectives like
Mio.
my,
Tuo.
your,
Suo.
the formal word for your, and so forth, often pair with an article like the
Il.
in.
Il suo.
Together, it's
Il suo.
a formal phrase for your.
Il suo.
Altogether,
Il suo numero di telefono.
your phone number.
Il suo numero di telefono.
Last is the expression
Per favore.
meaning please.
Per favore. Per favore.
Altogether, it's
Il suo numero di telefono, per favore.
your phone number, please.
Il suo numero di telefono, per favore.
Remember this request. You'll hear it again later.
Let's take a closer look at the response.
Do you remember how Mark says, "My phone number is 123-4567-890.
Il mio numero di telefono è 123 45 67 890.
Do you remember how to say phone number?
Numero di telefono.
Phone number.
Numero di telefono.
Before this is the phrase
Il mio.
my.
Il mio. Mio.
Means my.
Mio. Mio.
In this sentence,
Mio.
is masculine singular to agree with.
Numero.
Before this is the article.
Il.
Think of it like the in English.
Il. Il.
Is also masculine singular to agree with.
Numero.
In this sentence, the article
Il.
does not have a corresponding English translation.
Together, it's
Il mio.
my.
Il mio.
Altogether, it's
Il mio numero di telefono.
my phone number.
Il mio numero di telefono.
Next is
È.
is, as in my phone number is.
È. È. È.
Is from the verb,
Essere.
meaning to be.
Essere.
Together, it's
Il mio numero di telefono è.
my phone number is.
Il mio numero di telefono è
Next is Mark's phone number.
123 45 67 890. 123 45 67 890.
Note how Mark says his phone number. When giving your phone number in Italian, say each digit separately. After each group of digits, include a short pause in place of the hyphen. For example,
123 45 67 890.
altogether, it's
Il mio numero di telefono è 123 45 67 890.
my phone number is 123-4567-890.
Il mio numero di telefono è 123 45 67 890.
The pattern is
Il mio numero di telefono è phone number.
my phone number is phone number.
Il mio numero di telefono è phone number.
To use this pattern, simply replace the phone number placeholder with your phone number. Imagine your phone number is 111-22-22-444.
1 1 1 2 2 2 2 4 4 4 111 22 22 444.
Say, my phone number is 111-22-22-444. Ready?
Il mio numero di telefono è 111 22 22 444.
My phone number is 111-2222-444.
Il mio numero di telefono è 111 22 22 444.
Let's look at some examples. Listen and repeat, or speak along with the native speakers.
Il mio numero di telefono è 123 45 67 890.
Il mio numero di telefono è 111 22 22 444.
Il mio numero di telefono è 111 33 33 555.
Il mio numero di telefono è 098 76 54 321.
999 00 00 111. Do you notice how I omitted? Il mio numero di telefono è 999 00 00 111.
999 00 00 111. When directly responding to a request, it's often possible to omit part of the response. Here, by simply giving your phone number, there's no need to say,
Il mio numero di telefono è.
my phone number is. The pattern is phone number. You should be aware of this shortcut, but for this lesson, we'll use the pattern.
Il mio numero di telefono è. Phone number.
My phone number is phone number.
Il mio numero di telefono è. Phone number.
Let's review. Respond to the prompts by speaking aloud. Then repeat after me, focusing on pronunciation. Ready? Do you remember how to say phone? Telefono. Telefono. And how to say number? Numero. Numero. Do you remember how to say phone number? Numero di telefono. Numero di telefono. And how to say my phone number? Il mio numero di telefono. Il mio numero di telefono. Do you remember how to say my phone number is? Il mio numero di telefono è. Il mio numero di telefono è. Do you remember how Mark says my phone number is 1234567
Il mio numero di telefono è 123 45 67 890.
Il mio numero di telefono è 123 45 67 890. Do you remember the formal way to say your phone number? Il suo numero di telefono. Il suo numero di telefono. And how to say please. Per favore. Per favore. Do you remember how the civil servant says, your phone number, please?
Il suo numero di telefono, per favore.
Il suo numero di telefono, per favore.
Let's practice. Imagine you're Karen Lee and your phone number is
111 66 44 555.
Respond to the civil servant's request. Ready?
Il suo numero di telefono, per favore.
Il mio numero di telefono è 111 66 44 555.
Listen again and repeat.
Il mio numero di telefono è 111 66 44 555. Il mio numero di telefono è 111 66 44 555.
Let's try another. Imagine you're Ben Lee and your phone number is
999 55 00 111.
Ready?
Il suo numero di telefono, per favore.
Il mio numero di telefono è 999 55 00 111.
Listen again and repeat.
Il mio numero di telefono è 999 55 00 111. Il mio numero di telefono è 999 55 00 111.
Let's try one more. Imagine you're Federica Fontana and your phone number is
111 33 33 555.
Ready?
Il suo numero di telefono, per favore.
Il mio numero di telefono è 111 33 33 555.
Listen again and repeat.
Il mio numero di telefono è 111 33 33 555. Il mio numero di telefono è 111 33 33 555.
Ciao a tutti, sono Felice Angelini. Hi everyone, I'm Felice Angelini. In this lesson, you learn how to talk about your family.
This is Ben Lee, and he's at a coffee shop with his classmate, Federica Fontana. Ben is showing her some pictures. She points to one of them and asks, "Is this your family?"
Questa è la tua famiglia?
Listen to the conversation and focus on the response. Ready?
Questa è la tua famiglia?
Sì, questa è la mia famiglia. mio padre, mia madre, mia sorella e io.
Once more with the English translation.
Questa è la tua famiglia?
Is this your family?
Sì, questa è la mia famiglia. Mio padre, mia madre, mia sorella e io.
Yes, this is my family. My father, my mother, my sister, and me.
Let's take a closer look at the conversation.
Do you remember how Federica asks, "Is this your family?"
Questa è la tua famiglia?
Let's start with the word
Famiglia.
family.
Famiglia. Famiglia.
In Italian, all nouns have grammatical gender and are either singular or plural.
Famiglia.
Is feminine and singular a fact which will determine the form of other words in the sentence? Before
Famiglia.
is
La tua.
a phrase meaning your,
La tua. Tua.
means your.
Tua. Tua. Tua.
Is feminine and singular to agree with.
Famiglia.
Before
Tua.
is the article.
La.
Think of it like the in English.
La. La. La.
Is also feminine and singular to agree with.
Famiglia.
Note, in this sentence, the article
La.
does not have a corresponding English translation. In Italian, possessive adjectives like
Mia.
my,
Tua.
your, and so forth often pair with an article like the
La.
in.
La tua.
Together, it's
La tua.
a phrase for your.
La tua.
Altogether,
La tua famiglia.
your family.
La tua famiglia.
Moving to the start of the sentence,
Questa.
this.
Questa. Questa.
Note,
Questa.
is feminine and singular to agree with.
Famiglia.
Next is
È.
is, as in this is.
È. È. È.
Is from the verb
Essere.
meaning to be.
Essere.
Altogether, it's.
Questa è la tua famiglia?
This literally means, this is your family? But it translates as, is this your family?
Questa è la tua famiglia?
Note the rising intonation of the sentence to mark that it's a question.
Questa è la tua famiglia?
Remember this question. You'll hear it again later.
Let's take a closer look at the response.
Do you remember how Ben says, "Yes, this is my family, my father, my mother, my sister, and me"?
Sì, questa è la mia famiglia. Mio padre, mia madre, mia sorella e io.
This starts with the expression,
Sì.
meaning yes.
Sì. Sì.
It answers Federica's yes or no question. Is this your family?
Questa è la tua famiglia?
After this, Ben points to the picture and says,
Questa è la mia famiglia.
let's start with the word
Famiglia.
family.
Famiglia.
Do you remember the gender and number of
Famiglia.
feminine and singular? Before this, it's
La mia.
a phrase meaning my.
La mia. Mia.
My
Mia. Mia. Mia.
is feminine and singular to agree with.
Famiglia.
Before
Mia.
is the article.
La.
Think of it like the in English.
La.
Is also feminine and singular to agree with.
Famiglia.
Again, in this case, the article
La.
does not have a corresponding English translation. Together, it's
La mia.
a phrase for my.
La mia.
Altogether,
La mia famiglia.
translates as my family.
La mia famiglia.
Moving to the start of the sentence,
Questa.
this.
Questa.
Note
Questa.
is in the feminine singular form to agree with.
Famiglia.
Next is
È.
is.
È.
Altogether, it's
Questa è la mia famiglia.
this is my family.
Questa è la mia famiglia.
After this is
Mio padre.
my father.
Mio padre. Padre.
Father.
Padre. Padre. Mio.
My
Mio. Mio.
is masculine and singular to agree with.
Padre. Mio padre.
Next is
Mia madre.
my mother.
Mia madre. Madre.
Mother.
Madre. Madre. Mia.
My
Mia.
is feminine and singular to agree with.
Madre. Mia madre.
After this is
Mia sorella.
my sister.
Mia sorella. Sorella.
Sister.
Sorella. Sorella. Mia.
My
Mia.
is feminine and singular to agree with.
Sorella. Mia sorella.
Next is
E.
and.
E. E.
And last is
Io.
which translates as me in this context.
Io. Io.
Altogether,
Questa è la mia famiglia. Mio padre, mia madre, mia sorella e io.
this is my family, my father, my mother, my sister, and me.
Questa è la mia famiglia. Mio padre, mia madre, mia sorella e io.
The pattern is
Questa è la mia famiglia. Family member. Family member. Family member. E io.
this is my family, family member, family member, family member, and me. To use this pattern, simply replace the family member placeholders with the appropriate word for my and members of your family. Remember that the word for my will be
Mio.
when your family member is male and
Mia.
when the family member is female. Imagine your family members are your father, your mother, your brother, and you
Fratello.
is brother.
Fratello. Fratello. Fratello.
Is masculine and singular. Therefore, my brother is
Mio fratello. Mio fratello.
say, this is my family, my father, my mother, my brother, and me. Ready?
Questa è la mia famiglia. Mio padre, mia madre, mio fratello e io.
This is my family, my father, my mother, my brother, and me.
Questa è la mia famiglia. Mio padre, mia madre, mio fratello e io.
In Italian, possessive adjectives like tua, your, are preceded by definite articles like la in la tua famiglia, your family. However, there is an exception. When talking about singular family members, don't use the definite article. For example, mia madre, my mother, and mio padre, my father.
Let's look at some more examples of people talking about their own families. Listen and repeat, or speak along with the native speakers.
Questa è la mia famiglia. Mio padre, mia madre, mia sorella e io. Questa è la mia famiglia. Mio padre, mia madre, mia sorella e io.
Questa è la mia famiglia. Mio padre, mia madre, mio fratello e io. Questa è la mia famiglia. Mio padre, mia madre, mio fratello e io.
Questa è la mia famiglia. Mio padre, mia madre, mia sorella e io. Questa è la mia famiglia. Mio padre, mia madre, mia sorella e io.
Questa è la mia famiglia. Mio padre, mia madre, mia sorella, mio fratello e io. Questa è la mia famiglia. Mio padre, mia madre, mia sorella, mio fratello e io.
Questa è la mia famiglia, i miei genitori, mia sorella e io. Questa è la mia famiglia, i miei genitori, mia sorella e io. Did you notice how I replaced mio padre, mia madre with i miei genitori? I miei genitori, mia sorella e io.
My parents, my sister, and me. The phrase
I miei genitori.
means my parents.
I miei genitori.
Remember, in Italian, all nouns have grammatical gender and are either singular or plural.
Genitori.
Is masculine and plural, a fact which will determine the form of other words in the sentence.
Genitori.
Parents.
Genitori. Genitori.
Before this is the phrase
I miei.
meaning my,
I miei. Miei.
my.
Miei. Miei. Miei.
Is masculine and plural to agree with.
Genitori.
Before
Miei.
is the article.
I.
Think of it like the in English.
I. I. I.
Is also masculine and plural to agree with.
Genitori.
Note, the article
I.
does not have a corresponding English translation.
Questa è la mia famiglia, i miei genitori, mia sorella e io.
This is my family, my parents, my sister, and me. You should be aware of the plural form, but we'll use singular nouns in this lesson.
Let's review. Respond to the prompts by speaking aloud. Then repeat after me, focusing on pronunciation. Ready? Do you remember how to say yes? Sì. Sì. And how to say family? Famiglia. Famiglia. Do you remember how to say my family? Don't forget the article. La mia famiglia. La mia famiglia. And how to say is? È. È. Do you remember how Ben says, "This is my family"? Questa è la mia famiglia. Questa è la mia famiglia. Do you remember how to say father? Padre. Padre. And how to say my father? Mio padre. Mio padre. Do you remember how to say mother? Madre. Madre. And how to say my mother? Mia madre. Mia madre. Do you remember how to say sister? Sorella. Sorella. And how to say my sister? Mia sorella. Mia sorella. Do you remember how to say and? E. E. And how to say me? Io. Io. Do you remember how Ben says, "Yes, this is my family, my father, my mother, my sister, and me"?
Sì, questa è la mia famiglia. Mio padre, mia madre, mia sorella e io.
Sì, questa è la mia famiglia. Mio padre, mia madre, mia sorella e io. Do you remember how to say your family? Don't forget the article. La tua famiglia. La tua famiglia. And do you remember how Federica asks, "Is this your family?"
Questa è la tua famiglia?
Questa è la tua famiglia? Do you remember how to say brother? Fratello. Fratello. And how to say my brother? Mio fratello. Mio fratello.
Let's practice. Imagine you're Sasha, Ben's younger sister. Respond to your friend's question referring to the photo. Don't forget to include the word for yes at the beginning of your response. Ready?
Questa è la tua famiglia?
Sì, questa è la mia famiglia. Mio padre, mia madre, mio fratello e io.
Listen again and repeat.
Sì, questa è la mia famiglia. Mio padre, mia madre, mio fratello e io. Sì, questa è la mia famiglia. Mio padre, mia madre, mio fratello e io.
Let's try another. Imagine you're Ben's classmate, Alessandro Amato. You have a father, mother, and sister. Ready?
Questa è la tua famiglia?
Sì, questa è la mia famiglia. Mio padre, mia madre, mia sorella e io.
Listen again and repeat.
Sì, questa è la mia famiglia. Mio padre, mia madre, mia sorella e io. Sì, questa è la mia famiglia. Mio padre, mia madre, mia sorella e io.
Let's try one more. Imagine you're Ben's classmate, Federica Fontana. You have a father, mother, sister, and brother. Ready?
Questa è la tua famiglia?
Sì, questa è la mia famiglia. Mio padre, mia madre, mia sorella, mio fratello e io.
Listen again and repeat.
Sì, questa è la mia famiglia. Mio padre, mia madre, mia sorella, mio fratello e io. Sì, questa è la mia famiglia. Mio padre, mia madre, mia sorella, mio fratello e io.
Ciao a tutti, sono Felice Angelini. Hi everyone, I'm Felice Angelini. In this lesson, you learn how to talk about your family from a parent's perspective.
This is Karen Lee, and she's studying with her Italian teacher, Rosa Romano. Rosa notices a picture on her computer and asks, "Is this your family?"
Questa è la sua famiglia?
Listen to the conversation and focus on the response. Note, Rosa uses formal Italian. Ready?
Questa è la sua famiglia?
Sì, questa è la mia famiglia. Mio marito, mio figlio, mia figlia e io.
Once more with the English translation.
Questa è la sua famiglia?
Is this your family?
Sì, questa è la mia famiglia. Mio marito, mio figlio, mia figlia e io.
Yes, this is my family. My husband, my son, my daughter, and me.
Let's take a closer look at the conversation.
Do you remember how Rosa asks, "Is this your family?"
Questa è la sua famiglia?
Let's start with the word
Famiglia.
family.
Famiglia. Famiglia.
In Italian, all nouns have grammatical gender and are either singular or plural.
Famiglia.
Is feminine and singular, a fact that determines the form of other words in the sentence. Before this is
La sua.
meaning your in this formal context.
La sua.
Note,
Sua.
fundamentally means his, hers, or its, but it's also a formal way to say your when speaking to someone directly using formal Italian.
Sua. Sua.
Now, you might be more familiar with
Tua.
an informal word for your, as in
La tua famiglia.
your family, informal. As this is a conversation between two adults that don't know each other very well, the formal form
Sua.
is more appropriate.
Sua.
Is feminine and singular to agree with.
Famiglia.
Before
Sua.
is the article.
La.
Think of it like the in English.
La. La. La.
Is also feminine and singular to agree with.
Famiglia.
Note, in this sentence, the article
La.
does not have a corresponding English translation. In Italian, possessive adjectives like
Mia.
my,
Tua.
your,
Sua.
the formal word for your, and so forth, often pair with an article, like the
La.
in.
La sua.
Together, it's
La sua.
a formal phrase for your in this context.
La sua.
Altogether,
La sua famiglia.
translates as your family.
La sua famiglia.
Moving to the start of the sentence,
Questa.
this.
Questa. Questa.
Note,
Questa.
is in the feminine singular form to agree with.
Famiglia.
Next is
È.
is, as in this is.
È. È. È.
Is from the verb,
Essere.
meaning to be.
Essere.
Altogether, it's.
Questa è la sua famiglia?
This literally means, this is your family? But it translates as, is this your family?
Questa è la sua famiglia?
Note the rising intonation of the sentence to indicate that it's a question.
Questa è la sua famiglia?
Remember this question. You'll hear it again later.
Let's take a closer look at the response.
Do you remember how Karen says, yes, this is my family, my husband, my son, my daughter, and me?
Sì, questa è la mia famiglia. Mio marito, mio figlio, mia figlia e io.
This starts with
Sì.
meaning yes.
Sì. Sì.
It answers Rosa's yes or no question. Is this your family?
Questa è la sua famiglia?
After this, Karen points to the picture and says,
Questa è la mia famiglia.
let's start with the word
Famiglia.
family.
Famiglia.
Do you remember the gender and number of
Famiglia.
feminine and singular? Before this, it's
La mia.
a phrase meaning my,
La mia. Mia.
my.
Mia. Mia.
In this sentence,
Mia.
is feminine and singular to agree with.
Famiglia.
Before
Mia.
is the article.
La.
Think of it like the in English.
La. La.
Is also feminine singular to agree with.
Famiglia.
Again, in this case, the article
La.
does not have a corresponding English translation. Together, it's
La mia.
a phrase for my.
La mia.
Altogether,
La mia famiglia.
translates as my family.
La mia famiglia.
Moving to the start of the sentence,
Questa.
this.
Questa.
Note,
Questa.
is in the feminine singular form to agree with.
Famiglia.
Next is
È.
is.
È.
Altogether, it's
Questa è la mia famiglia.
this is my family.
Questa è la mia famiglia.
After this is
Mio marito.
my husband.
Mio marito. Marito.
Husband.
Marito. Marito. Mio.
My
Mio. Mio.
is masculine and singular to agree with.
Marito. Mio marito.
Next,
Mio figlio.
my son.
Mio figlio. Figlio.
Son.
Figlio. Figlio. Mio.
My
Mio.
is masculine and singular to agree with.
Figlio. Mio figlio.
After this is
Mia figlia.
my daughter.
Mia figlia. Figlia.
Daughter.
Figlia. Figlia. Mia.
My
Mia. Mia.
is feminine and singular to agree with.
Figlia. Mia figlia.
Next is
E.
and.
E. E.
And last is
Io.
which translates as me in this context.
Io. Io.
Altogether,
Questa è la mia famiglia. Mio marito, mio figlio, mia figlia e io.
this is my family, my husband, my son, my daughter, and me.
Questa è la mia famiglia. Mio marito, mio figlio, mia figlia e io.
The pattern is
Questa è la mia famiglia. Family member, family member, family member e io.
this is my family, family member, family member, family member, and me. To use this pattern, simply replace the family member placeholders with the appropriate word for my and members of your family. Remember that the word for my will be
Mio.
when your family member is male and
Mia.
when the family member is female. Imagine your family members are your wife, your son, your daughter, and you.
Moglie.
Is wife.
Moglie. Moglie.
This is a feminine noun. Therefore, my wife is
Mia moglie. Mia moglie.
say, this is my family, my wife, my son, my daughter, and me. Ready?
Questa è la mia famiglia. Mia moglie, mio figlio, mia figlia e io.
This is my family, my wife, my son, my daughter, and me.
Questa è la mia famiglia. Mia moglie, mio figlio, mia figlia e io.
In Italian, possessive adjectives like mia, your are preceded by definite articles like la in
la mia famiglia, my family. However, there is an exception. When talking about singular family members, don't use the definite article. For example, mia moglie, my wife, and mio marito, my husband.
Let's look at some more examples. Listen and repeat, or speak along with the native speakers.
Questa è la mia famiglia. Mio marito, mio figlio, mia figlia e io. Questa è la mia famiglia. Mio marito, mio figlio, mia figlia e io.
Questa è la mia famiglia. Mia moglie, mio figlio, mia figlia e io. Questa è la mia famiglia. Mia moglie, mio figlio, mia figlia e io.
Questa è la mia famiglia. Mia moglie, mia figlia e io. Questa è la mia famiglia. Mia moglie, mia figlia e io.
Questa è la mia famiglia. Mio marito, mio figlio e io. Questa è la mia famiglia. Mio marito, mio figlio e io.
Questa è la mia famiglia, mio marito, i miei figli e io. Questa è la mia famiglia, mio marito, i miei figli e io.
Did you notice the phrase the last speaker uses when she points out her sons?
Mio marito, i miei figli e io.
My husband, my sons, and me.
I miei figli.
Translates as my sons in this case.
I miei figli. I miei figli.
Remember, in Italian, all nouns have grammatical gender and are either singular or plural.
Figli.
Is masculine and plural, a fact that determines the form of other words in the sentence. Let's start with
Figli.
children.
Figli. Figli. Figli.
Is the plural form of
Figlio.
son.
Figlio.
Note,
Figli.
can refer to a group of sons or a mixed group including at least one son and one daughter. However, it cannot be used when it is a group of only daughters. In that case, you would use the word
Figlie.
Before this is the phrase
I miei.
meaning my.
I miei. Miei.
My.
Miei. Miei. Miei.
Is masculine and plural to agree with.
Figli.
Before
Miei.
is the article
I.
Think of it like the in English.
I. I.
Note, the article
I.
does not have a corresponding English translation. If you're talking about daughters, you can say
Le mie figlie.
my daughters.
Le mie figlie.
You should be aware of the plural form, but we'll use singular nouns in this lesson.
Let's review. Respond to the prompts by speaking aloud. Then repeat after me, focusing on pronunciation. Ready? Do you remember how to say yes? Sì. Sì. And how to say family? Famiglia. Famiglia. Do you remember how to say my family? Don't forget the article. La mia famiglia. La mia famiglia. And how to say is è. È. And do you remember how Karen says, "This is my family"? Questa è la mia famiglia. Questa è la mia famiglia. Do you remember how to say husband? Marito. Marito. And how to say my husband? Mio marito. Mio marito. Do you remember how to say son? Figlio. Figlio. And how to say my son? Mio figlio. Mio figlio. Do you remember how to say daughter? Figlia. Figlia. And how to say my daughter? Mia figlia. Mia figlia. Do you remember how to say and? E. E. And how to say me? Io. Io. Do you remember how Karen says, "Yes, this is my family, my husband, my son, my daughter, and me"?
Sì, questa è la mia famiglia. Mio marito, mio figlio, mia figlia e io.
Sì, questa è la mia famiglia. Mio marito, mio figlio, mia figlia e io. Do you remember the formal way to say your family? Don't forget the article. La sua famiglia. La sua famiglia. And do you remember how Rosa asks, "Is this your family?"
Questa è la sua famiglia?
Questa è la sua famiglia? Do you remember how to say wife? Moglie. Moglie. And how to say my wife? Mia moglie. Mia moglie.
Let's practice. Imagine you're Mark's colleague, Matteo Marino. You have a wife and a daughter. Respond to Mark's question referring to the photo. Don't forget to include the word for yes at the beginning of your response. Ready?
Questa è la tua famiglia?
Sì, questa è la mia famiglia, mia moglie, mia figlia e io.
Listen again and repeat.
Sì, questa è la mia famiglia, mia moglie, mia figlia e io. Sì, questa è la mia famiglia, mia moglie, mia figlia e io.
Let's try another. Imagine you're Mark's boss, Patrizia Palmieri. You have a husband, daughter, and son. Ready?
Questa è la sua famiglia?
Sì, questa è la mia famiglia. Mio marito, mia figlia, mio figlio e io.
Listen again and repeat.
Sì, questa è la mia famiglia. Mio marito, mia figlia, mio figlio e io. Sì, questa è la mia famiglia. Mio marito, mia figlia, mio figlio e io.
Let's try one more. Imagine you're Mark's friend, Marina Monti. You have a husband and a son. Ready?
Questa è la tua famiglia?
Sì, questa è la mia famiglia. Mio marito, mio figlio e io.
Listen again and repeat.
Sì, questa è la mia famiglia. Mio marito, mio figlio e io. Sì, questa è la mia famiglia. Mio marito, mio figlio e io.
Did you notice how Mark uses la tua famiglia when asking about his friends and colleagues' families? Questa è la tua famiglia? Is this your family? In less formal situations, like speaking with a friend or close colleague, the less formal tua is more appropriate. Tua, your, tua, tua. Note, tua is feminine and singular to agree with famiglia. Ciao a tutti, sono Felice Angelini. Hi everyone, I'm Felice Angelini. In this lesson, you learn how to greet someone at different times of the day.
This is Rosa Romano, the Lee family's Italian teacher. Her schedule for the day is Mark Lee at 9 a.m., Karen Lee at 12 p.m., Ben Lee at 6 p.m. Listen to the greeting exchange between the three pairs. Pay attention to the time of day.
Buongiorno, signora Romano.
Buongiorno, signor Lee.
Buongiorno.
Buongiorno.
Buonasera.
Buonasera, Ben.
Once more with the English translation.
Buongiorno, signora Romano.
Good morning, Miss Romano.
Buongiorno, signor Lee.
Good morning, Mr. Lee.
Buongiorno.
Good afternoon.
Buongiorno.
Good afternoon.
Buonasera.
Good evening.
Buonasera, Ben.
Good evening, Ben.
Let's take a closer look at each of these expressions.
In the first conversation, do you remember how Mark says, "Good morning, Miss Romano"?
Buongiorno, signora Romano.
First is,
Buongiorno.
which literally means good day, but translates as good morning in this context.
Buongiorno. Buongiorno.
Note,
Buongiorno.
is a flexible greeting that can be used to mean good morning, good afternoon, or even just hello. You can use it all day until the evening. Next is
Signora.
Ms.
Signora. Signora.
This is an honorific used for women. Finally, the teacher's family name. Romano.
Romano. Romano. Romano.
Together,
Signora Romano.
Miss Romano.
Signora Romano.
Altogether,
Buongiorno, signora Romano.
good morning, Miss Romano.
Buongiorno, signora Romano.
When including a person's name in a greeting, it's more common to say the person's name after the greeting. Note, using a person's family name in a greeting may come across as more formal. Do you remember the teacher's response? Good morning, Mr. Lee.
Buongiorno, signor Lee.
First is
Buongiorno.
good morning in this context.
Buongiorno.
Next,
Signor.
Mr.
Signor. Signor.
This is an honorific used for men.
Signor.
Is actually a shortened version of
Signore.
Mr. Before family names, it's common to drop the
E.
Finally, Mark's family name, Lee, pronounced in Italian.
Lee. Lee.
Lee. Altogether, it's
Buongiorno, signor Lee.
good morning, Mr. Lee.
Buongiorno, signor Lee.
Note, this exchange is formal. In the second conversation, which takes place at noon, do you remember how Karen says, good afternoon? Hint, it's the same greeting as the one used in the morning.
Buongiorno.
Note that Karen's greeting is slightly less formal, as she doesn't say the teacher's name.
Buongiorno.
Good afternoon.
Buongiorno.
The teacher's response is the same.
Buongiorno.
This can translate as hello or good afternoon.
Buongiorno.
Is a common way to greet people during the day. You can use it in both formal and less formal situations. In the third conversation, which takes place in the evening at 6 p.m., do you remember how Ben says, good evening?
Buonasera.
Buonasera.
Literally, good evening.
Buonasera.
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 Is a common way to greet people during the evening and at night, in both formal and less formal situations. Do you remember the teacher's response? Good evening, Ben.
Buonasera, Ben.
Buonasera.
Good evening.
Buonasera.
Next is Ben's name pronounced in Italian.
Ben. Ben. Ben.
Together, it's
Buonasera, Ben.
good evening, Ben.
Buonasera, Ben.
Note that the teacher addresses Ben by his first name as he's younger. This makes the greeting sound more informal.
In Italian, there is an expression for good afternoon. Buon pomeriggio. Buon, good, and pomeriggio, afternoon. Buon pomeriggio. Good afternoon. Buon pomeriggio. You can use this greeting if you really want to bring attention to the fact that it's the afternoon. Otherwise, you can simply say buongiorno from the morning to the early evening. Let's look at the greetings once more. Listen and repeat, or speak along with me. Buongiorno. Buongiorno. Buonasera. Buonasera. Buongiorno, signora Romano. Buongiorno, signora Romano. Ciao. Ciao. Did you notice the last greeting? Ciao.
Ciao.
Hi.
Ciao. Ciao.
In informal situations, you can just use the greeting
Ciao.
hi at any time of the day.
Ciao.
Is the most common greeting in Italian. However, it's only suitable for informal situations, such as when greeting friends or relatives. It translates as hi or hello, but it can also mean goodbye. Because of this, you can use
Ciao.
both as a meeting and parting greeting.
Let's review. Respond to the prompts by speaking aloud. Then repeat after me, focusing on pronunciation. Ready? Do you remember how Mark says, "Good morning"?
Buongiorno.
Buongiorno. And how Karen says, "Good afternoon"?
Buongiorno.
Buongiorno. Do you remember how to say good evening? Buonasera. Buonasera. Do you remember how Mark addresses Miss Romano? Signora Romano. Signora Romano.
Let's practice. Imagine you're Ben Lee and you're attending your morning class. Respond by saying, "Good morning." Ready?
Buongiorno, Ben.
Buongiorno.
Listen again and repeat.
Buongiorno. Buongiorno.
Let's try another. Imagine you're Mark Lee and you're attending your afternoon class. Respond by saying, "Good afternoon, Miss Romano." Ready?
Buongiorno, signor Lee.
Buongiorno, signora Romano.
Listen again and repeat.
Buongiorno, signora Romano. Buongiorno, signora Romano.
Let's try one more. Imagine you're Karen Lee and you meet your neighbor in the evening. Respond by saying, "Good evening." Ready?
Buonasera.
Buonasera.
Listen again and repeat.
Buonasera. Buonasera.
Elicottero. Helicopter. Elicottero. Elicottero. Helicopter. Guarda, un elicottero. Look, a helicopter. Guarda, un elicottero. Nero. Black. Nero. Nero. Black. Avevo un gatto nero. I had a black cat. Avevo un gatto nero. Marrone. Brown. Marrone. Marrone. Brown. Vorrei una sciarpa marrone. I'd like a brown scarf. Vorrei una sciarpa marrone. Grigio. Gray. Grigio. Grigio. Gray. Il cielo è grigio. The sky is gray. Il cielo è grigio. Riposarsi. Rest. Riposarsi. Riposarsi. Rest. Mi riposerò per un'ora. I'll rest for an hour. Mi riposerò per un'ora. Sentire. Hear. Sentire. Sentire. Hear. Quando studio, odio sentire rumori. I hate hearing noises when I study. Quando studio, odio sentire rumori. Volere. Want. Volere. Volere. Want. Oggi voglio provare qualcosa di diverso. I want to try something different today. Oggi voglio provare qualcosa di diverso. Disgustoso. Disgusting. Disgustoso. Disgustoso. Disgusting. L'uomo sta mangiando uno spuntino disgustoso. The man is eating a disgusting snack. L'uomo sta mangiando uno spuntino disgustoso. 11. 11. 11.
11. 11. Sono già le 11? It's already 11? Sono già le 11? 12. 12. 12. 12. 12. Ci sono 12 mesi in un anno. There are 12 months in a year. Ci sono 12 mesi in un anno. 13. 13. 13. 13. 13. 13 è un numero primo. 13 is a prime number. 13 è un numero primo. Email. 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 Adesso scrivo un'email. Now I write an email. Adesso scrivo un'email. Telefono cellulare. Cellular phone. Telefono cellulare. Telefono cellulare. Cellular phone. I telefoni cellulari qui sono proibiti. Cellular phones are prohibited here. I telefoni cellulari qui sono proibiti. Messaggio di testo. Text message. Messaggio di testo. Messaggio di testo. Text message. Lei mi ha contattato con un messaggio di testo. She contacted me via text message. Lei mi ha contattato con un messaggio di testo. Bocca. Mouth. Bocca. Bocca. Mouth. Mio fratello ha una bocca grandissima. My brother has a very big mouth. Mio fratello ha una bocca grandissima. Guancia. Cheek. Guancia. Guancia. Cheek. Le sue guance sono molto rosse. Her cheeks are very red. Le sue guance sono molto rosse. Naso.
nose, naso, naso, nose. Quel gatto ha un naso rosa. That cat has a pink nose. Quel gatto ha un naso rosa. Quaderno, notebook. Quaderno, quaderno, notebook. Mi serve un quaderno nuovo. I need a new notebook. Mi serve un quaderno nuovo. Matita, pencil. Matita, matita. Pencil. Restituiscimi la mia matita. Give me back my pencil. Restituiscimi la mia matita. Gomma per cancellare. Eraser. Gomma per cancellare. Gomma per cancellare. Eraser. Posso usare la tua gomma per cancellare? Can I use your eraser? Posso usare la tua gomma per cancellare? Bianco. White. Bianco. Bianco. White. Preferisco il vino bianco. I prefer white wine. Preferisco il vino bianco. Rosso. Red. Rosso. Rosso. Red. Rosso è il colore dell'amore. Red is the color of love. Rosso è il colore dell'amore. Verde. Green. Verde. Verde. Green. Il verde ti sta bene. Green suits you. Il verde ti sta bene. Finire. Finish. Finire. Finire. Finish. Non ho potuto finire per mancanza di tempo. I couldn't finish due to lack of time. Non ho potuto finire per mancanza di tempo. Iniziare. Start. Iniziare. Iniziare. Start. Dovremmo iniziare a vedere altre persone. We should start seeing other people. Dovremmo iniziare a vedere altre persone. Diventare. Become. Diventare. Diventare. Become. Mi ci è voluto solo un anno per diventare fluente. It took me only 1 year to become fluent. Mi ci è voluto solo un anno per diventare fluente. 14. 14. 14. 14. 14. La torre è alta 14 metri. The tower is 14 meters high. La torre è alta 14 metri. 15. 15. 15. 15. 15. Ho letto 15 libri sull'Egitto. I have read 15 books about Egypt. Ho letto 15 libri sull'Egitto. 16. 16. 16. 16. Ho 16 paia di calzini. I have 16 pairs of socks. Ho 16 paia di calzini. Telefono. Telephone. Telefono. Telefono. Telephone. Il telefono non sta funzionando. The telephone isn't working. Il telefono non sta funzionando. Occhio. Eye. Occhio. Occhio. Eye. Mi è entrato qualcosa in un occhio. I have something in my eye. Mi è entrato qualcosa in un occhio. Denti. Teeth. Denti. Denti. Teeth. Mi fanno male i denti. My teeth ache. Mi fanno male i denti. Labbra. Lip. Labbra. labbra, lip. Le labbra di quella persona sono grosse. That person's lips are thick. Le labbra di quella persona sono grosse. Macchina fotocopiatrice. Copy machine. Macchina fotocopiatrice. Macchina fotocopiatrice. Copy machine. La macchina fotocopiatrice è rotta. The copy machine is broken. La macchina fotocopiatrice è rotta. Scrivania. Desk. Scrivania. Scrivania. Desk. Il capo ha comprato una scrivania marrone. The boss bought a brown desk. Il capo ha comprato una scrivania marrone. Libro. Book. Libro. Libro. Book. Che libro è? What book is it? Che libro è? Penna. Pen. Penna. Penna. Pen. Mi puoi prestare la penna? Can you lend me the pen? Mi puoi prestare la penna? Ufficio postale. Post office. Ufficio postale. Ufficio postale. Post office. Ieri sono andata all'ufficio postale. Yesterday I went to the post office. Ieri sono andata all'ufficio postale. Biblioteca. Library. Biblioteca. Biblioteca. Library. La biblioteca era deserta. The library was empty. La biblioteca era deserta. Supermercato. Supermarket. Supermercato. Supermercato. Supermarket. Questo supermercato è molto economico. This supermarket is very cheap. Questo supermercato è molto economico.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Monthly Review, the monthly show on language learning, where you discover new learning strategies, motivational tips, study tools, and resources. By the way, all the lessons and bonuses you're about to see can be downloaded for free on our website. So click the link in the description right now to sign up for your free lifetime account. Okay, today's topic is the first step in your language learning journey that will guarantee your success. If you have trouble sticking with your language learning goals, it's probably because you're skipping one specific step. It's the step you need to take before you even start any learning. And doing it will help you stick with the language, not get overwhelmed, and reach your language goals. So today you'll learn 1. What solo language learners need to succeed, and 2. How to do self-assessment and set yourself up for success. But first, listen up. Here are this month's new lessons and resources. Be sure to download these now before we take them down in a few days. First, the Giving Directions Conversation Cheat Sheet. Do you know how to tell a taxi driver where to go in your target language? You'll be able to. With this PDF cheat sheet, you'll learn must-know words and phrases for giving directions. Second, the Most Common Verbs PDF ebook. You'll learn over 90 common verbs with this bonus PDF picture ebook. Download and review on any device. Third, how to talk about what you do in your free time. Learn how to say video games, fishing, and much more. You'll pick up over 25 words for leisure activities with this vocab bonus. Fourth, how to learn from home, learning strategies. Want to learn the language from the comfort of your home? This 1-minute lesson will give you all the best tactics for learning languages. Fifth, the top 35 adjectives for personalities. Can you describe your personality? This next bonus teaches you the 35 must-know adjectives for personalities, so you can talk about yourself in your target language. To get your free resources, click the link in the description below right now. They're yours to keep forever. Okay, let's jump into today's topic. The first step in your language learning journey that will guarantee your success. Here's a question for you. When you want to learn a language, how do you usually get started with that goal? You might say the inspiration comes first, and that motivates you to start. Then you get a textbook or an app and go from there, right? That's a pretty standard answer, but how does that tend to work out? Most people end up falling off a week or a month later. Why do you think that happens? Leave a comment with why you think people tend to lose inspiration quickly. More often than not, it happens because you pick a goal, a learning routine, or a resource that overwhelms you and just isn't right for you. Here's a typical example. Let's say you work an 8-hour day and you want to try to start learning. Most people would try to squeeze in learning for 1 or 2 hours at night, or you could try and wake up an hour early. And usually that doesn't work out because you're trying to do things that you're not used to. Wake up earlier and study earlier. It doesn't fit your current lifestyle. So what should you do differently? Well, let's take an example from language schools. Before you start learning, language schools force you to take an assessment test on the first day. Why? So that they make sure the language lessons fit your level and put you in the proper class. The goal of an assessment test is to find out where you are and meet you there. That's something most solo learners don't do. And the problem is, if you're a solo learner, no one assesses you. And you yourself don't know what routine works best for you, how much time you can set aside, and how much studying you can comfortably do. We all imagine we can do an hour a day, but realistically speaking, it'll be a lot less than that. So that's where self-assessment comes in. Before you start learning a language, or do any goal for that matter, it's important to know where you are in life, what your daily schedule is like, when you're busy and when you're free. So you can set your expectations, know how much time you can put in, and so you can start learning at a pace that works for you. Now, how do you actually assess yourself? There are 3 assessments you can do. 1, a life assessment. 2, a routine assessment. And 3, language assessment. Language assessment will only be helpful if you already have some experience. If you're brand new, you won't need this. First, life assessment. Here, the goal is to see how the language will fit into your life and how you generally deal with goals. As in, if you succeeded with a goal before, what helped you succeed? You could take that and apply it here. If you failed before, find out why so you can avoid it this time. So you'll need to answer the following questions. Why are you learning this language? How will it help your life? What current connections do you have to this language? For example, listening to music, watching TV, you have a relative, you have neighbors or friends that speak it. What have you been doing so far to learn? Have you learned languages before? Have you failed any goals before? How or why? Have you succeeded with any goals before? How or why? Write these questions out and answer them. Next, the routine assessment. Write out your daily routine for a whole week. For example, wake up at 7 a.m., breakfast at 8 a.m., commute to work at 8:30 a.m., arrive at work at 9:30 a.m., lunch at 1 p.m., and so on. Do this for every day of the week. The goal here is to see what your daily routine is like, so you know when you're free, when you're busy, and where you can fit in language learning. That way, if you're super busy on Mondays and 5 minutes is all you can do, then that's good enough. You won't feel bad about doing only 5 minutes. If you see that you spend 30 minutes on commuting, add language learning on top of that existing routine. If you take walks or go for a jog, play an audio lesson there. Or even if you're cooking at a certain time, play an audio lesson in the background. Remember, look for an existing routine that you already stick with, like commuting, and where you can multitask. Don't try to create new routines. For example, waking up at 7 a.m. to learn will set you up for failure. If you usually wake up at 8 a.m., waking up at 7 a.m. will be even harder. And then, actually trying to learn a language at 7 a.m. makes it even harder. This is where new learners start having trouble. You're trying to do two things at once, trying to learn the language and trying to stick to a new routine. One is hard enough. Trying to do two can overwhelm you. So piggyback off of your existing routines first, so you can build momentum. And finally, there's language assessment. If you're an absolute beginner, you won't need much of an assessment. Just start with our absolute beginner recommended learning pathway. But if you have experience and want to assess yourself, there are two things you can do. First, if you're a Premium Plus user, then you're asked to do an assessment test when you join, but you can always request it again from your teacher. And second, if you're a Premium user, check our recommended pathways. We assign these pathways, level 1 to level 5, based on your learning level, from absolute beginner to advanced. At the start of each pathway, there's a diagnostic test. You can take that to assess yourself. So thank you for watching this episode of Monthly Review. Next time, we'll talk about when routines grow stale, how to learn more language with a new routine. If you enjoyed these tips, hit the like button, share the video with anyone who's trying to learn a language, and subscribe to our channel. We release new videos every week. And if you're ready to finally learn language the fast, fun, and easy way and start speaking from your very first lesson, get our complete learning program. Sign up for your free lifetime account right now. Click the link in the description. See you next time. Bye! What are some surefire ways to stay motivated when you're learning a language? In this video, we're going to talk about 10 surefire ways to stay motivated and stay on track. All right, we asked our Premium and Premium Plus members for their tested techniques. You'll find out what worked for them. Number 1, you must see your progress. In other words, you have to see it to believe it. There's nothing better than seeing your results firsthand. It's like seeing muscles in the mirror after working out. How do you do this with language? In order to see it, you have to start measuring it first. And you can do that with the dashboard on our website. With the dashboard, you can see how many lessons and how much of the language you've mastered so far. So review the progress you've made with the dashboard on the site. Number 2, use the Daily Dose of Language app. With this, you get free daily mini lessons, but that's not all. This app keeps you on track because it actually sends you daily reminders. If you need that extra push or reminder, this app does it for you. And the Daily Dose lessons are quick and easy. They take just 1 minute of your time. Number 3, learn with somebody better than you. A tutor, a friend, and you can even learn with your own teacher with a Premium Plus subscription. Simply having someone better than you by your side is enough to help you improve and motivate you. It's like having a coach. Number 4, set a small, measurable goal. For example, finish 10 lessons in 1 week, or learn 20 words in a week. Most people give up because they have a vague goal, like I want to be fluent, that they don't know how to reach. But if you aim small and make it measurable, you'll have a much better chance of reaching it. Your goal is to learn 20 words, and you know 17 already. Because you know how close you are, you're more motivated to close the gap and reach your goal. Number 5, watch movies and shows in your target language. First of all, we recommend this because it's fun. But more importantly, when you understand what you hear, it's a clear sign of progress, and you'll feel good about it. Number 6, listen to music in your target language. Music is enjoyable, and if you make it part of your routine, you're giving yourself a nice break in between lessons. but you're still immersing yourself in the language. So if you enjoy this routine, you're more likely to stay motivated. Number 7, do the lessons that you enjoy. Just like with music, if you enjoy our audio and video lessons, then stick with them. If you have any favorite lessons, remember you can always download them to your device and review them as much as you want. They're yours to keep. Number 8, understand that language learning is a marathon. Learning a new language is not a sprint. Most people think they can study for hours and suddenly get better. But when they realize that it takes time, this can hurt their motivation. So understand that it's a marathon. Remember that it's better to study for a few minutes every day than pulling a 5-hour cram session that will burn you out. Number 9, keep the big goal in mind. Imagine yourself being fluent. Small, measurable goals are definitely important. But when you just don't feel like learning, which is completely natural by the way, remember the big goal. Having the big picture in mind will remind you of what's important and put you back on track. Number 10, invest in the language. Make a commitment. Whether you buy a book or a subscription, enroll in a class, or join a study group, by investing and making a commitment, you're much more likely to go through with it. You've paid for it, so you value it more. You want to make sure you get your money's worth. Plus, other people expect you to show up. This can be extremely helpful when working towards your language goals. And that's it. There are so many ways to keep yourself motivated. Do you have a favorite way? Leave us a comment and let us know. So, to make sure you stay motivated in your studies, just check out our complete language learning program. Sign up for your free lifetime account by clicking on the link in the description. Get tons of resources to have you speaking in your target language. And if you enjoyed these tips, hit the like button, share the video with anyone who's trying to learn a new language, and subscribe to our channel. We release new videos every week. I'll see you next time. Bye! Want to speak and understand more of your target language? You'll need to know more words and phrases to really make new conversations and ultimately connections. In this video, you'll discover 6 ways to master new words and phrases fast. Number 1, use our free vocabulary lists. Here's what makes this study tool so powerful. This is your free library of vocab and phrase lessons. You can learn words and phrases for current events like Halloween or New Year's. There are also many useful topics, like the top 10 ways to say hello, conversational phrases, and more. In other words, you learn phrases that you wouldn't normally find in textbooks. And if you want to learn extra fast, you can use the slideshow tool. Just tap on or click on View Slideshow, then sit back and review the words and phrases. Find the vocabulary lists in the vocabulary drop-down menu on the site. And yes, these vocab lists are free for all users. Number 2, take the audio and video lessons. One of the best ways to learn new words is through conversations. You get to hear how the words are used. So in every lesson dialogue, you'll come across some words you don't know. But don't worry, because our teachers translate everything. So when you hear the conversation again at the end of the lesson, you'll know them all. Number 3, learn with our 2,000 most common words list. Here's a question for you. How many words do you think you need for conversational fluency? 3,000? 5,000? Actually, language experts say you need only about 1,500 to reach conversational fluency. And with this study tool, the 2,000 most common words list, you get the words you need for conversational fluency right up front. That's what makes this study tool so powerful. It's all here for you. And they're broken down into simple categories, such as adjectives, nouns, verbs, food, drinks, numbers, and months. Now, 2,000 is quite a lot to learn. Do you have to learn it all? Well, you don't have to learn it all at once. You can go category by category. You can also start with the top 100 words, then move on to the top 200, 300, and so on until you get to 2,000. So if you're an absolute beginner, you can start with the top 100 words. Once you've mastered those, you can move on to the next category. You can also use other study tools to learn these words faster, right? Such as number 4, study with spaced repetition flashcards. Now, we're not talking about paper flashcards. We're talking about the smart flashcards that you can find in our premium study tools. Picture this. Think of these as a teacher inside of your computer who quizzes you and sorts the words for you. So words that you struggle with, you'll be quizzed on more and more, and words that you know, you'll see less and less. So they display the words as needed, so you never forget them. In every session, they'll refresh your memory on the words you learned last time and introduce new ones. That's exactly how our smart flashcards work. And because you get drilled on the words you struggle with, you have no choice but to master them and improve. You have no choice but to succeed. You can also study the words from your lessons and vocab lists with the very same flashcard tool. Number 5. Create printable word lists with the word bank. The word bank is a study tool that lets you save words and phrases from lessons and vocab lists. Think of it as your extended brain. If you come across a new word that you want to review later, you can save it to the word bank. But the word bank also lets you print out your word lists. So click on the printer-friendly option inside Word Bank and print out your collection of words. You can use that sheet for writing practice. Number 6. Use the words. After you learn a new word, using it right away is crucial to remembering it. So when you're done with a lesson or a vocab list, leave a comment. Make up a sample sentence and post it in the comment section. Write it down in a notebook, or shadow it, meaning listen to the audio pronunciation and say it out loud. You should do this because it's the actual practice that gets you to remember it. So say it, write it, listen to it again. Doing this will help lock the words into your memory. So if you want to take advantage of any of these tools for yourself, just check out our complete language learning program. Sign up for your free lifetime account by clicking on the link in the description. Get tons of resources to have you speaking in your target language. And if you enjoyed these tips, hit the like button, share the video with anyone who's trying to learn a new language, and subscribe to our channel. We release new videos every week. I'll see you next time. Bye! Are you studying a language but starting to lose motivation? In this video, we're going to talk about the halfway point and how to keep going with language learning. After 6 months to a year of studying a language, you might be feeling like you're losing a little bit of steam. Maybe you started out strong and now you're feeling a bit low. Maybe you aren't seeing the results you wanted, or you think your efforts aren't paying off. But the reason for that might not have anything to do with your studies. It might be more an issue about your reviewing and your goal setting. 1. Why you should review your past language goals. When you set goals, do you ever go back to review your progress? It can be a reminder of how far you've come and help you keep your motivation up. Let's say you started learning a language and you've been at it for a few months. In month 1, you're excited and motivated. In month 2, you're still going at it, but maybe the motivation is not as strong, and you want to make sure that you don't fall off, unfortunately, as most people do. So you work hard to keep at it. By month 3, you're kind of on autopilot and learning with whatever has been working for you. That sounds like a good place to be, cruising on autopilot. Well, it may seem like a good place to be, but the problem is by month 4, 5, or 6, if you've been coasting along for too long and haven't had any significant improvements, you may start wondering if you're actually learning or if you'll ever master the language. You might start losing motivation, and worse, you might even quit. If you're learning by yourself, it's hard, and if you're not tracking your progress, by month 4 or 5, you might realize that the textbook you've been using isn't helping you increase your fluency. You might think you're going nowhere. So the reason to review is to check your progress. Maybe you can speak none of your target language in month 1, but at the end of month 3, you can speak 3 minutes. So that's some progress. And if you're at 8 minutes now, for example, then you can definitely say that you've improved since the start. It's good for motivation, just knowing that you got a return on your time investment. So reviewing is good for progress and motivation. Also, it's natural to lose motivation with anything you're trying to learn or do. So it's something you need to keep up, something you need to keep in mind. What do you do when your motivation dips? You can stop, take some time to review and reflect. Is your motivation dipping? Are you studying less? Do you feel like you're not making progress? And if you say yes to these questions, then you can work on boosting your motivation to help you keep going. How do you boost your motivation? Well, do you remember anchor points? Anchor points are things that connect you or anchor you to your goal, such as a language class or program. It could even be relatives or friends who speak the language, TV shows in that language you like, or an upcoming trip to the target country. All of these things, in one way or another, keep you anchored to your language learning goal. So if you're watching a TV show in your target language, then it's natural for you to want to understand it better, and your desire to learn goes up. If you're taking language classes where a teacher expects homework from you, that's another connection to the language. So you do the homework, you attend classes, you learn more. Ultimately, if you want to boost your motivation and keep going, you should get more anchor points. But how do you do that? Let's jump into the second part. 2. How to review your progress and maintain motivation. How do you review your progress? First, you always set small, measurable goals and always track results. The study resource you're using can be used for your review as well. It's easy to get demotivated and think that you have learned nothing. But if you're using a textbook, for example, you can set a number of pages, and that can be a really good motivator, something to reach for. Making sure you're getting through and then testing yourself on material is a little harder if you're not actually using your textbook, though. So make sure that you actually stick to the plan you set for yourself. Again, the tool you're using is not so important, but just make sure whatever you use, you measure it and track your progress. Reviewing is as simple as looking at your past goals and results. You can also do it the old school way and look through your notebooks, see how much you've written out. In fact, we have something called the Dean's Date with our Premium Plus plan, where our Premium Plus users send in all of the work they've completed with their teacher. The writings, the recordings, the assignments, and you can see it all, everything that you've done. Then you can see your actual results of your 3 months of work. Everything you've accomplished is in one place. Do you ever run out of motivation? Of course you do occasionally, and it's natural for everyone's motivation to dip after some time. Then if you lose motivation, how do you keep going? Just as we talked about earlier, add more anchor points, more connections to the language, whether that means enrolling in in-person classes at a real language school, planning trips, or signing up for a test. Those anchor points help you stay motivated. Your main ones need to be things that will keep you interested in your target language or the people in your life connected to it. These are the things that will keep you motivated. But it's also important to remember, whether you're struggling or you're progressing rapidly, that you have to keep your learning adaptive. As humans, we're adaptive. We adapt to environments, and this is the same thing. Your language learning path has to adapt as you progress. If you're progressing faster, there's a way to adapt. If you're progressing slower, there's also a way to adapt. 3. How you can keep going past the halfway point. If you've been studying the language for a few months, it's normal to start losing steam. If you're not losing steam and you're progressing, then great job, and maybe you can share some of your tips with us, because it's one of the hardest things ever to stay motivated long term. If you are starting to lose steam, remember that this happens with any goal. It can happen to anyone at any time, so you need to learn how to adapt to it. By being aware that these dips are natural and that they happen, you can expect them. So when one does come around, you'll know how to boost your motivation and know how to keep yourself going. Here's what you do when a dip does come around. 1. Review your learning progress. If you've been setting small, measurable goals every month, then this won't be a problem. The goal here is to see how far you've come, and this will help you maintain motivation. If you can see that you learned 50 words in January, 50 in February, 100 in March, and so on, then you have measurable progress, and this lets you know that you're improving, even when you don't feel like you are. Second, if you're a Premium Plus student, you can also participate in the Dean's Date and submit your work on the deadline. Be sure to ask your Premium Plus teacher about it. Third, if you're a Premium or Premium Plus user, you can also check your dashboard and see how many flashcards you've studied and how many lessons you've completed. We track your progress for you. But of course, it's best to set goals like learn 50 words or speak 1 minute of conversation, because completing a lesson may not mean that you've mastered everything inside. So if you've not been setting goals and tracking them, now is the time to start. Otherwise, do you know how much of the language you can speak? Or how many words you've learned? If you don't know, then you'll feel like you're floating around and not learning anything. So be sure to set small, measurable monthly goals. Fourth, create more anchor points to boost your motivation. Anchor points are connections to the language that keep you anchored to the language and your goal. It could be friends or relatives who speak the language, TV shows in that language you like, an upcoming trip to the target country, language classes, or language programs. All of these things, in one way or another, keep you anchored to your language learning goal. So if you started learning a language because your relative speaks it, that motivation may not last forever. It may help you in month 1 or month 2, but by month 4, 5, or 6, your motivation might wear off. But you can decide to enroll in a class or start watching a TV show in that language. That will give you some new reasons to keep going to the language. In a way, you give yourself more reasons to learn. A lot of the time, the reasons why we start something are not often the reasons why we continue them. So don't be afraid to adjust your motivations as you go along. If you've reached a language milestone and are starting to feel a little less motivated, just take a look at these tips. Thorough review, setting anchor points, and reviewing your study methods will all help you keep going in your studies. For more strategies on how to keep studying, just check out our complete language learning program. Sign up for your free lifetime account by clicking on the link in the description. Get tons of resources to have you speaking in your target language. And if you enjoyed these tips, hit the like button, share the video with anyone who's trying to learn a new language, and subscribe to our channel. We release new videos every week. I'll see you next time. Bye! Great work! Here's a reward. Speed up your language learning with our PDF lessons. Get all of our best PDF cheat sheets and ebooks for free. Just click the link in the description.